It does touch a little bit on the... You're right, mate? Welcome back to my channel, and today I'm bringing you the first update for the Read With Me video series. So this series will talk about all the books I'm reading in a month, but they will definitely be focusing on the 2 reading challenges that I'm currently participating in. The first reading challenge is the hashtag Pan Your TBR bookshelf, which was created by Amy from Curly Loves Books and Beauty, who I'll have linked down below. And then the second one is the Color Me Reading Challenge, which was created by Samantha from Makeup Mania and More, and myself from Red Dirt and Stardust, who I'll also have Samantha linked down below, as well as everybody else who has joined in on either of these challenges. So if you have recently joined in, please let me know if you are not listed, those things down below. So I actually managed to get through 4 books this month, and they do kind of cross between both of my challenges, and there is actually one that I haven't put in to be a part of either challenge. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to just go through the books in order of me completing them. I'll mention which challenges they are a part of and give you a bit of a rundown of what the book's about and how I feel about it. But if you are interested to see all my ratings for all the books and get a bit of a picture of what books are a part of my TBR reading list, please check out my Goodreads, which I'll also have linked down below. But before we get started with that, I feel that I should mention, and now is the perfect time to do so, that my TBR bookshelf has actually increased because somebody around here purchased new books. And on top of that, I've recently got Kindle Unlimited, and I've purchased a few books through Kindle, which are all ebooks, and I'm trying to make up my mind of how I should incorporate that into my TBR bookshelf. So the 3 options that I presented over on Instagram were: 1, I don't include them at all; 2, I only include the ones that I bought separate to the Kindle Unlimited subscription; and 3, I include everything. So I won't give you an updated number of where we are sitting with my TBR bookshelf as of yet, because I'm still not 100% sure what I'm going to do regarding that. So definitely let me know what you think down in the comments, because I'm wanting some extra opinions before I make up my mind. So we will give you an updated TBR number as of next month. And that list will include all books that have been added to the TBR bookshelf list, including any that I've already read. Talking about my TBR bookshelf, I did read 1 book from that list this month. That book was Be Mindful and Simplify Your Life by Kate James. I have put a picture of it up here because since reading it, I made the decision to declutter it. I handed it on, I gave it to somebody that I knew who might enjoy it and get something from it, which the book itself recommends you do. So the book is essentially a how-to on how to simplify your life and be more mindful. It has a little test at the start of it where you go through and you do the ABCs, and it tells you in relation to the specific questions and that test how mindful you are within your everyday life. I did enjoy the book overall, and there are some strategies or techniques that I may include into my life going forward. But overall, it wasn't my favorite kind of self-help style book or self-improvement book. There are others that I have enjoyed more. So though I did enjoy it, it wasn't my favorite, and I'm quite happy to have passed it on and not kept it in my collection. So that book wasn't just part of my TBR bookshelf challenge, but I also incorporated it into my Colour Me Reading challenge. And it was for the colour teal. So that is so far one book off of my 26 colour list for the Colour Me Reading challenge. This month I also managed to read 2 additional books that ticked off colours off my list. The next one was for the colour white, and that was The Morning Glory Milking Farm by C.M. Nacosta. And just from the name and the title, you can probably already guess what type of book it is. So the premise of the book is that the world is an alternative world. So we have humans, but we also have mythical creatures that live among humans. And those include a range of different things, including vampires, fairies, elves, and minotaurs. So you can probably see where this book is already going. The little blue pills that I guess a large proportion of society use to create more enjoyment in their bedroom life are actually based on something that is found within bull stuff. So there are farms where bulls get paid to be milked. Already just saying this out loud, I'm thinking I'm gonna put this on the internet, and yeah, Mum, I'm sorry that I have read this book and now I'm talking about it. So this book follows the main character. Her name is Violet, and she starts working at this farm because she is having a bit of a rough time. She's in a bit of debt and she doesn't want to give up on, I guess, her dreams of starting a career. And she thought that such a job might help her take the step to get out of debt, and then she can move on from there into the career which she has studied for. While there, she meets a minotaur and they basically fall in love. So though there is a erotica style writing to the book, and it does have some detailed erotic scenes, overall it is really about these two characters meeting and falling in love, and this idea of somebody falling in love with somebody else who doesn't fit within, I guess, the social norms of relationships. And in saying that, this book can be probably read to represent many of the problems within today's society. But overall, it doesn't touch too much on the troubles that they face, and is really just kind of a fluffy love story. Overall, I really did enjoy this book. The love story was well written, and I love the fact that the book wasn't just a plot style. The plot was the main part of the book, and everything else that happened really fit within the storyline, and nothing felt out of place. So like I said, overall, I really enjoyed it. So if you are into that style of book, or you're thinking of venturing out into your reading likes, I would definitely say give that book a read. And I've actually put some of C.M. Nacosta's other books on my to be read list. And I've heard that she does have another book coming out in that series, but it focuses on a different character and a different love story, which I'm also looking forward to reading. And like I said, Morning Glory Milking Farm was for the colour white. Then for the colour pumpkin orange, I read a book that was perfectly fitting to the colour, which is What Women Do Together, and it is by Sam George Allen. It is very much a feminist style book where it focuses on women in today's society and how certain behaviours, especially groups of women together, are perceived. George Allen is an Australian author, and it very much comes from her perspective as a white cis Australian woman. I especially found it very interesting when she herself highlights the internalized misogyny that most women feel and actually put onto other women, especially when she is talking about the idea of women within organizations and moving up within organizations. And not only are we fighting against the glass ceiling, but unfortunately, we are fighting a lot of the time against each other because society has given us this perceived idea that there is only one spot for that one special woman who doesn't fit within the norms of womanhood, who will take on these positions. Therefore, as women, we are automatically put into a us versus them style relationship, where as women, we're fighting against each other to move up into these management or higher up positions. It was definitely a very interesting discussion and something that I plan to take on with me in my regular life. And also the idea that women in groups are actually very powerful. I definitely recommend giving this book a read for anyone who does enjoy the feminist style books and also wants to learn more about women in society and wants to look at that idea of women in groups in society. It does touch a little bit on the idea of Wiccan and witches and paganism in relation to both a historical view and a modern age. But that is not the core source of the book. The core source is this idea that society itself has become fearful of women in groups, and certain things have been put in place to kind of prevent such things from occurring. Like I said, I would definitely give this a read. I personally read it as an audiobook with the author Sam George Allen as the narrator, which I definitely think added to the tone of the whole experience of the book. Last but not least, I then went on to read Blindsided. It is the fourth book in the Fake Boyfriends series by Eden Finlay, and I will put up in the cards. I think I started reading the first book for that series, was it last year or the year before? I will put the video up that discusses the first book that I listened to that was part of this series. But Blindsided focuses on two of the football players. I can't remember what type of football it is, as it is set in America. So American football, not Australian football, but two of the football players that are in Matt Jackson's team. So Matt Jackson's story does start in book 2. We learn about him. So it does now look at two other players that are in that story, and their names are Talon and Miller. Talon and Miller have known each other since college and have quite a close relationship, though they haven't seen each other for about 6 years. They had a very unusual relationship back in college, and now they have not only kind of started that pattern again, but they're now developing from that pattern and learning, I guess, what that means for them and their relationship. Though it is the Fake Boyfriend series, technically only the first 2 books in the series really had that fake boyfriend trope in it. This one definitely doesn't follow that idea, but it does focus on 2 guys who are falling in love within the football/sporting scene in America. I will say that the Fake Boyfriend series, though it is quite tropey and quite fun, and you know that it's always going to end with a happy ending, well, it has so far for the main characters ended with happy endings. It does talk a lot about homosexual men in sports and how we have to break down the homophobia that is currently within that industry. I have really enjoyed these books, and I'm definitely going to continue on with this series, and I am planning to start reading some of the other books that Eden Finlay has written. I especially like the fact that all her books in this series, though they focus on different characters, they all kind of fit together and all the characters are intertwined within the stories. Though I will say for the first 2, possibly 3 books, you could have read them very much as independent books. And this one, though you could read it as an independent book, you get a lot more of an understanding of all the side characters from reading the others before it than you have from reading it as an independent book. So as you can see from the cover, it does have that tiny little bit of purple on it. So though I'm not going to class it towards my Colour Me Reading series, I am going to be classing it towards my 50 Shades of Purple project pan. So I'll up in the cards put the playlist for that. Though I haven't mentioned it in any of those videos yet, it will be on the finale video. So those are the 4 books that I managed to read this month. Please let me know down in the comments if you like the kind of setup structure of this video, because I'm a little bit unsure how I'm going to discuss each of the challenges plus the books that I'm reading that don't fit within the challenges, while not repeating myself and talking about one book multiple times. Also, down in the comments, please let me know what you're currently reading, and if there's any books that are your number 1 will recommend when somebody says, do you have any book recommendations for me? Because I would love to open up my reading portal into the world of other genres and themes. So please let me know down in the comments what you're reading and what your must recommend book is. But until next time, I'm Verity, and this was the first update for my Read With Me series, and now to the outro.